29. Earth. The people are called Earthlings in the galaxy called the Milky Way. The space bus does not go to Earth, so I had to find someone that would take me there, so I could study Earth. The space bus does not go to Earth and probably never will because the planet is not advanced enough to handle what happens in the rest of the galaxies. I tried to find someone to take me to Earth, but no one will take the chance to land there without getting spotted. I was sitting in the Wisha Hotel on Wisha one day when someone come up to me and said, "Are you the one that wants to go to Earth?" I said, "Yes, I am." The guy said, "I have a ship that is invisible. No one can see it unless me, of course." I said, "When can we leave?" He said, "Be on the ship in 1 hour and we will talk then." I said, "Where is your ship?" He said, "It is on pad 5. I said, "I will be there." I got out of my seat and went back to my office and went home to get some cloths. When I got home I had only a half hour to get on the shop. When I come through the door my wife said, "How come you are home so early?" I said, "I have to go and report on one of the planets and I have to take some cloths and I will be gone for a couple of days, so don't worry about me." She said, "Tell me all about it when you get back." I said, "I will." I walked into the bedroom and she said, "When do you have to leave?" I said, "I got about 20 minutes to get to the ship." She said, "Okay," and that was that. I packed and took my suitcase toward the door, and when I got there my wife was there and we kissed goodbye. I got in my space car and left. I got at the spaceship just in time. I walked on the ship and he said, "Made it." I said, "Just in time." He said, "Your cabin number is 4 and when we land I will call you." I said, "That will be great." I went to my cabin and laid on the bed and I was thinking about the trip to Earth. He said, "Time to get up, we're here." I said, "I must have fell asleep." I got up and then I followed him to the top deck. When we got there the captain said, "We have landed on Earth but we are not going out there." I said, "Why not?" He said, "Every time I sent someone out they just don't come back." I said, "Will I take that chance?" I took my suitcase with me because that way they will think I am lost and they won't think I am from another planet. I said, "How can I call you if I need you to come and get me?" He said, "Here is a device that will help. It is a locator beacon. Wherever you are we can follow." I said, "This should be different." He said, "The air is fine here but the gravity is more than you are used to, so don't try to run very far because you will get tired very fast." I said, "Okay." He opened the door and I walked out, and just as soon as I walked past the field I could feel the gravity. He said, "You will have to get used to it." Boy, I guess I will. Every planet that I have visited does not have that much gravity. They have gravity control machines on them. So all the planet have the same gravity. As I walk I thought of the wife and the kids. Just then I heard something in the woods. I was some sort of animal. It looked like a big deer but I have not seen one of those for a long time. Just then something jumped in back of me and I turned around and it was a big bear. I dropped my suitcase and ran for the ship. When I got back to the ship and pounded on the door it finally opened. I rushed in and closed the door. I said, "There is a great big bear out there and he chased me back here." The captain walked in and said, "I guess we know where all the other ones went we sent out. The animals got them." I said, "Can you transport my suitcase back in here?" He said, "Only if we shut down the invisible ray." I said, "Take the ship and get closer so I can go and get it." He said, "That we can do." The ship started moving and we landed not too far away. I opened the door and went out and got it. Just as soon as I got back on the ship and closed the door the big bear come running up and hit the door. The captain said, "Let's get out of here." The ship lifted off the ground and we took off. I said, "Now go to one of the small towns around here and set down a little ways out of town." The ship landed and I got out and walked toward town and I met some of the people coming into town and they said, "Did your car break down?" I said, yes, and I will have to replace it someday. I just keep walking. I got in the middle of town and I went into this place and there was dancing going on and hugging and kissing. I went up to counter and said, who is in charge here? There was this very big guy that stood up and he said, I am, and if you need something you can ask me. I said, how many people live here in this town and where am I? The guy said, you are in Little Rock, Arkansas. I said, do you have a map? He said, do you want a map of the state? I said, if you have a world map that would be even better. He got out of his seat and he tried to hit me but he missed. I reached up and hit him and he just looked at me as if I hit him with a feather. I forgot about the difference in gravity and I was going to get hurt. He said, we like the full picture of the moose. I said, I brought that so if I see one of them I would know what they look like. He said, there is many of them here. I said, it has been a long time since I have hunted them. He said, we hunt them and boy are they good. I said, what else do you hunt in the woods? They said, almost everything that is out there. I said, that is good. He said, why do you want a map of the whole planet for? I said, I am sick and tired of getting lost. He said, I can relate to that. He looked at the other guy and said, give him all the maps he wants. The guy said, give them to him. He said, yes. They gave me all the maps I needed and I just walked out the door. When I got back to the ship I showed everyone what I had and everyone just looked at me and said, how did you get all the maps? I said, it was easy once you figure out what is going on. I have been to so many planets that you just know what to do. They said, now where? I said, I want to go here and they call it New York City. We took off and headed that way when all of a sudden something hit us and sent us in a different direction. I said, what happened? The captain said, it looks like a plane hit us because they cannot see us. Then he said, damage report. Someone come over the intercom and said, no damage to us but what we hit just crashed. I said, fly over and see if everyone is alright. The captain said, delay that and go to New York City. The ship turned around and we headed that way. When we got there we landed outside of the city and I got out. I walked and finally I got to a building. I walked around a little to see if anyone was around. I just could not find anyone. I left there and walked toward all the rest of the buildings. When I got closer to them the more buildings I see. When I got downtown I looked for someone that would talk to me. Finally I found someone and I asked them if I could get $1 to get a cup of coffee. They looked at me and said, where are you from? I said, I am from Little Rock, Arkansas and I seem to be lost and I don't have any money left. The guy said, here is $20 and this will get you partway. I said, thank you and I walked off. $20 looks a lot different than ours. No wonder if someone come here from where I am from they would just lock them up and throw away the key. They would not believe them whatever they said. I called the ship and the captain said, we will be right there. It was lucky the guy gave me the money so now I can make more and they will not know the difference. The money here is not like ours because you just cannot make the money. When you try it comes out different every time. In every bill that is made there is a microchip in the paper and we just cannot copy that yet. We almost did at one time but the chip was faulty. So it did not work. The ship showed up and transported me up. I said, we have to make some money so we can live here and get food here for a couple of days. The captain said, this should be easy because there is no chip in this money. They took the bill and made a lot of it and I said, I hope you changed the numbers on them, so they will not have all the same numbers. He said, oh I thought of that already. The next morning I got up and the captain said, the money is all made and how many of us do you want to go? I said, how many does it take to run the ship? He said, it only takes one to run the ship. I said, all of you can go except one of you. The captain said, you can stay on the ship and the rest of you can go with me. We landed on a rooftop and left the ship with all the money. We found a door and opened it and went downstairs. When we got downstairs we took the elevator down to the lobby. I went up to the front desk and said, "Can I have a room for 6 of us for the night?" The guy behind the counter said, "Yes, we have room," and he told me how much it was and I paid him. I said, "Do you also have room service?" He said, "Yes we do." I said, "We will call later." He gave me the key and he said, "Do you need any help?" I said, "That will be fine." I walked off and everyone followed me. We got back on the elevator and went to the floor and found the room. I opened the door and the place was better than anywhere I have stayed before. I turned on the TV set and we watched TV all night long. In the morning I went back downstairs and paid for another night. I sleep most of the day after that. When I woke up someone said, "I am getting bored, what is there else to do on this planet?" I said, "Get cleaned up and we will go out and see." They all looked at me and then one of them said, "We don't have any clean cloths." I said, "That is what room service is for. So call room service and they will clean your cloths and bring them back." I called room service and they said, "I will be right up and get all the cloths and you will have them all back in 1 hour." I said, "That will be fine." They all took off their cloths and put on towels. There was a knock at the door and it was the person to pick up the cloths. I gave the person the cloths and I said, "I would like all of them back as soon as possible." The person said, "The best I can do is 1 hour." I said, "That will be fine." I closed the door and said, "Now everyone start taking showers." One by one we took showers. When the last one got out of the shower there was a knock on the door. I opened the door and it was our cloths. I gave the kid a tip and said, "Thank you." The kid said, "Thank you." We got our cloths and got dressed. Then when we were all ready I said, "Now we are new on this planet and you will have to agree with what I do and say." They all agreed. I said, "Let's go then." They all followed me out the door and when we got outside I walked down the street and a woman come up to me and said, "How about a date tonight?" I said, "Thanks but we are all married." I just walked on. Finally we come to it looks like a bar. I opened the door and I paid the cover charge, whatever that is. We sat down at a table. A waitress come over and said, "What would you like to drink?" I said, "Just beer all around. I figure every planet has beer." She brought all the drinks and I said, "How much?" She said, "The first drink is covered when you paid the cover charge." I said, "Thank you." She said, "If you need anything else just call me." I said, "Okay." There was a stage up front and I wonder what goes on up there. A little while later a girl come out and the music come on and she started to dance. I said, "This is a strip joint." They all said, "What is that?" I said, "The girl takes all her cloths off to the music." They all said at once, "Wow, let's stay and see the show." I said, "I have traveled enough so I have seen them. They have them on some of the planets I have been on." One of the guys said, "Which ones?" I said, "I will tell you later." After the show I wanted to go, but they all wanted to stay. I said, "I will meet you back at the hotel then." I got up and walked out the door. I walked down the street and one of the girls come up to me and said, "How about a date tonight?" I said, "Thanks but if I want a date with me you will have to ask my wife." She just walked off. I looked around and I found a newspaper. I picked it up and I looked for a light to see it. I started to walk back to the hotel and I found a light and I started to read the paper. But I just could not see it very good so I went back to the hotel room. When I got back to the hotel room, the light was on in the bathroom and I said, "Who is here?" One of the guys said, "It is just me, I come back to get some more money." I said, "Don't spend it all in one place." He said, "Why?" I said, "You don't want them to find out it is fake." He said, "Good reason." I said, "You will get arrested and go to jail here." He said, "No way." I said, Yes way. He said, well then we will be back in about 1 hour then. I said, make sure you do. After he left I started to read the paper again. I got to the part of the paper it said, classified ads. I got what is this? Our paper does not have that in it. We put big ads in our paper to get a lot of attention. Here they put a lot of small ads and the paper is smaller. That saves a lot of paper and what idea? I put the paper in a bag with some of the food I got. I sat down and turned on the TV and just watched TV until they get back. It was about midnight when they got back and I said just as they walked through the door, let's go home. One of them said, I want to stay here for a while and I might not want to go home. I said, then you will have to get a paper and find a job because we are not coming back here just to make money for you. You will have to go to work and make your money the right way. He said, bummer. He said, well in that case let's leave. I said, get what you are going to take with you and let's go. I grabbed the paper bag with the newspaper in it and we were on our way. Just before I walked out I left the key on the dresser. When we got to the roof the captain said, Jeff, get your fanny down here and pick us up. Just then the ship landed and we got on board. The captain said, let's go home. The ship lifted off and we were on our way home. When I counted 9 people and I said, I thought there was only 8 of us that left Wisha. The captain said, I have a crew of 6, plus me is 7 and you is 8. How did you count 9? I said, I counted 9 again. The captain counted and he said, yes you are right. We went over and turned everyone around and finally when we turned this person around and we said, who are you? She said, Sam said it was alright for me to come with you. The captain said, Sam. Done by Jack Wisha for the Wisha newspaper.